Welcome back to another episode of Dialing In for our Line 6 Helix and HX Stomp, and this is another Firmware 3.7 edition, and today I am going to take a look at yet another one of the Line 6 original amps that we received in this past firmware update, and this time it is the Oblivion amp model. So this Line 6 original is designed to be a much heavier sounding amp, but a very good heavy sounding amp. The distortion characteristics of this I find are really killer. Really been enjoying this amp model, but it is also good for, obviously not super clean tones, but it's going to also be good for kind of some lower gain tones too that aren't going to be just all out metal tones. So today we're going to create a preset utilizing this new Line 6 Oblivion. It's going to be a single snapshot preset, kind of a mid-gainy type of a preset, but I also have up on the Line 6 Marketplace my Oblivion Clarity Ultimate preset. Now you might say, why is it Oblivion Clarity? Well, I actually decided in this Line 6 Marketplace preset to combine the Clarity amp, which is a beautiful Line 6 original we also received in Firmware 3.7, that specializes more in very pristine, clean sounds. And since this amp doesn't do that, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a preset that combines the two of them so we can get that pristine, clean tone out of the Clarity and then switch over for our gainy, distorted tones from the Oblivion. But today we're just going to be looking at the Oblivion. But I will play you a demo video later today of the Oblivion Clarity Ultimate preset used together in a mix over a full rhythm section. And I'm going to have all these preset links below. The free preset we're going to create today is going to be available at my website. You can go grab that for free. Mess around with it, tweak it however you see fit. And I hope you enjoy it and I hope it gives you a good starting point. And if you're so inclined, you can go grab the full-blown Marketplace preset, which is going to be multi-effects built in, dual amp, multi-snapshots. And I hope you enjoy that as well. But for now, let's head over to HX Edit. We'll take a look and see exactly what I did to create this preset and what little sweeteners I'm adding here. Then we'll take a listen to it in the mix. So let's head over to HX Edit. All right, so here we are over in HX Edit. I have my JS Oblivion preset. Like I said, this is a single snapshot preset available at the link below through my website. You'll notice here I'm using a very typical signal chain that I always do, right? Very typical settings as well. LA Studio comp, peak reduction of 5, gain at 5. Barely getting this to even do anything. It's just doing a very subtle bit of squash at the end. I just like how it controls things and helps things sit better in the mix. Over to my parametric EQ, which again, I'm really not using for anything other than low and high cuts. Low cut of 100 hertz, high cut of 10 kilohertz. Again, just to always reiterate, because it doesn't seem to matter how many times I say it, somebody always questions it. Why do I have the parametric block and not just the low high cut block? Well, because in case I come across a scenario where I need to make a quick tweak on the fly, I have that equalizer right there ready to go. And it's really not that big a hit on DSP. All right, moving on to the reverb dynamic plate, decay of 1.4 seconds, mix of 30%. You can see the rest of the settings here. Kind of typical for me. I like those settings on that. My low and high shelf EQ, very subtle use again, but you're going to see that when we put all of these little sweeteners in together, it just gives a little bit more cohesive, mix-ready, polished sound to it, even though it's subtle. And sometimes, you almost have to be listening on a really good set of headphones or speakers to really be able to pick out the little differences, but it does help when you're utilizing these either live or in the studio in a mix. So I have my low and high frequencies, as I often do, set at 650 hertz. All the frequencies below 650, cut by 1 dB, all the frequencies above, boosted by 1 dB. Brings us to the cab, which is arguably one of the most important aspects of any tone. So we have the 412 Greenback 25, a real favorite of mine. I really love this cabinet. Mic is a 160 ribbon, another favorite of mine, a microphone that I own in real life that I utilize quite often. Position is on the cap edge, distance is 1.75 inches. Now you could go between the 0 degree or 45 degree mark here. The 0 degree seems to give you in this particular scenario a little bit more edge. If you want it to be smoothed out just a little, we can go 45 degrees here. So that's an easy switch we can make either on this preset or on the Line 6 Marketplace preset if you want to do some tweaking on that if you decide to grab that. For this one here, I just decided to keep it at the 45 degree angle. And then onto the amp, we have channel 1 drive. I set it very low here at 1.5. Now you might think that that might give us a clean tone, but it does not. This amp doesn't really do clean very well, but it's not supposed to. It's not meant to. Bass on 4.8, mid on 5.0, treble on 6.2, presence on 7.4, channel volume on 5.5. The boost is off, sag on 5, hum is on, and bias and bias X on 5. So what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to turn everything off here, the EQ. We'll keep the reverb on, but all of the sweetener, EQ blocks, and the compressor. And we'll listen to just what this amp is capable of. We'll look at the gain range. We'll see what the boost does. And we'll see kind of how it sounds with these settings that I chose. So here I have my trusty Gibson SG. And with these settings, with all these sweetener blocks turned off, it sounds like this. Move to the neck pickup. Sounds good on either of those pickup selections. Kind of a cool chewiness to the sound there. Now, if I come over here and what I was talking about before when talking about the cab, listen on the 45-degree setting. .45-degree setting just smooths it out a little bit. I believe on the Marketplace preset, I went with the 0 degrees. I was kind of going for that little bit more bite to the tone. Really going to be down to personal preference, but it's a very easy little change to make if we so desire. So that's the settings that I chose without any of the sweetener blocks. Now let's take a look at the gain range here. Let's remember our setting of 1.5. If we come down, no matter how low we go, we've still got some overdrive there, but all the way up, so tons of gain on tap there. Now, if I do come back to where I started here at 1.5 and engage this boost, let's see what happens when we go all the way to 10. So lots of different flavors we can add in there as far as the type of distortion we're getting out of it just by utilizing either the channel 1 drive or just adding boost to a lower gain setting. So kind of cool to see how those controls work. But this is where I decided to stay. So I'm going to now bring in the sweetener block. So we're starting off with nothing. Bring in this compressor. Like I said before, extremely subtle, but it's just a little bit of this gluey squish that I like to bring into it. Okay, we'll bring in our low and our high cuts. Just trying to retain some of that bite, but smooth things out a little bit and get a little more controlled. Neck pickup. Really, really nice stuff. Really digging that. And then I'll bring in a very subtle low and high shelf EQ, almost not doing anything, but just giving that tiny little bit of polish. So what I've also done is set up a second snapshot here that says no effect. So all that's going to do is turn off all my sweetener blocks so we can compare side to side with and without. And you're going to hear just a subtle difference. I'll switch here and just watch up here when it switches. So this is it without any of the sweeteners. It just kind of becomes a more cohesive, smoothed out tone that's going to sit beautifully in a mix. All right, so there you have it. That's the single snapshot preset. It is available at my website below. Go grab that if you're so inclined and you want to grab the full-blown Line 6 Marketplace preset, which is the Oblivion amp combined with the Clarity amp, multi-snapshots all the way from really crystal clean to some really super nice heavy tones with a full array of effects. You can grab that at the link below at the Line 6 Marketplace. But if you want to hear what that sounds like together with the various snapshots used in the mix in a real world production, this is what that sounds like. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, the links are below to the full-blown Line 6 Marketplace preset and also to the free preset we created today. I hope you enjoy both, depending on which one you decide to get, and I hope it gives you hours of enjoyment in messing around with it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like the video, share it with anybody you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it. Also, please subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I'll be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys again so much for sharing your time with me. Ciao for now.